Sir Elmer will be joined by the other members of the ULAT team. So here is Sir Glenn Lopez, Sir Jericho Orejudos, and Sir Jeff Aborot. So sirs, kindly turn on your cameras and be ready to answer questions. So for those who are streaming this event via Facebook Live, you may type your questions in the comment box. Okay, so the first question says, I am a data science student. Is it possible for me to get a hold of the weather data assets that I can use for my research project? What procedures do I need to follow to use the data collected by the weather stations for my research?
Hi, thank you, Phyllis. Yeah. I think they would need to write a parang or email the ASTI director, Dr. Franz, and then it's out. The data naman are actually free for especially for research purposes, but they should comply with the EULA or the end users licensing agreement. So yung procedure lang siguro yun, letter lang to the director. Glenn, do you have something to add regarding this?
Yes, thank you, Elmer. So good afternoon, everyone. Actually, as part of the project, as mentioned earlier by Sir Elmer, part of the project is to share data and all information collected coming from the ULAT project. So all the data that we have can be shared, especially for those who will use this data for their research or academic purposes, and also for disaster-related mitigation initiatives of especially from the local government's units. So we have partners who are already using the data, so we seamlessly share the data. And also, as mentioned earlier, most of the weather data are being shared online publicly through the Field Sensors website. And we are also developing other tools and platforms in order for us to share the data in much more target audiences, or mas madaming pwede naming ma-reach na partners for the use of data. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Glenn and Sir Elmer. So just to add, you can send an email address to the director, to the DOST-ASTI director, Director Franz De Leon, to info@asti.dost.gov.ph. So can we have the second question, please? Just for a while. Question number 2, do you also use social media data like tweets to validate or correlate the result of your research in the ULAT project?
Okay, let me answer that. May research akong na-encounter before that they use mga tweet data to actually parang validate yung ano. Pero in the ULAT project, kasi we haven't done that yet, but siguro later we can actually make use of the social media data or tweets, no? Kasi that's another, ano pa kasi, we have actually a lot of data sets, no, that we're working on. And siguro kapag we have enough more time, we can actually consider using Twitter data, no? We would probably implement a web scraping tool to actually scrape yung tweets, and then tingnan namin dun sa mga predictions namin if it really correlates with our prediction doon sa mga. So pero medyo that's another part pa kasi, kumbaga medyo this is a research area on its own, no? Medyo this is malaking effort din ito kung gagamitin natin yung ano yung Twitter data. Pero as of now hindi pa siya namin ginagawa. Pero maybe in the future.
Okay, thank you, Sir Elmer. Our question number 3 is from one of our guests. Hello, not sure if I missed it earlier. How was the results of the forecast validated?
Yeah, with that, kasi since we're collecting we've been collecting data sets, I think as early as 2019, no? So medyo marami kasi yun. Tapos may minute yung resolution. So imagine, big data talaga siya. So like yung pinapakita ko kanina na meron tayong training set, tapos meron tayong test set. No? So basically, time series siya. So gagamitin natin yung, we're going to use part of that data set that we have to come up with a model, and then gagamit din tayo, let's say, ng another set for actually tuning the model para maging, and then yung later part siguro yun yung ginagamit, no? Yung later part yun yung ginagamit namin to validate kung kung accurate yung aming results. So that's how we actually validate, one way to validate our data sets. Kasi yung hindi naman lahat ng data na yun gagamitin namin for training. Some of them we will set aside for actually the validation.
Okay, thank you, Sir Elmer. Can we have question number 4, please? Okay, question number 4. In machine learning, what are the factors that affect the accuracy of your predictions?
Sige, I'll also answer that question. So, yung mga factors that affect the accuracy of predictions sa machine learning in general, I would say siguro number 1 dito with the quality of your data. So napaka-crucial nung data collection. So kasi pagka garbage in, garbage out, basically, kapag yung data kasi yun yung ating parang fuel, no? Yung ating input doon sa ating machine learning algorithms. So kapag yung data mo hindi malinis at hindi accurate, syempre hindi rin tayo magkakaroon ng accurate na result. So dapat they are well structured, tapos clean, and then as much as possible we minimize the missing data, and then i-minimize din natin yung mga confounding and also mga redundant data set. Sometimes kasi nakaka-apekto din yun sa performance ng model, ng accuracy ng model. Aside from the data, yung algorithm itself also can be also kailangan kasi hindi lang actually yung data yung dito, pati yung distribution ng data or yung property ng stochastic processes na nag-generate dun sa data. Kasi kaya importante yun, kailangan kasi dapat ginagamit natin yung assumptions doon sa mga model natin. May mga assumptions kasi tayo pag gumagawa tayo ng mga predictive model, like for example, dapat constant mean para mas madali and constant variance, yung mga ganon, yung mga statistical assumptions. So yung kung paano na-generate yung data na yun, yung stochastic process behind that, iba-iba yun eh. Merong kasing parang somehow deterministic, merong highly stochastic, merong chaotic, no? Pag chaotic yung data mo, ibig sabihin konting pagbabago lang dun sa ang laki ng usually mga weather data ganon. Property niya very much chaotic yung nagiging outcome. Kapag small changes lang in the initial conditions, it could mean a very large or very drastic change doon sa outcome. So yun din yung stochastic property ng stochastic process na nag-generate dun sa data. And so also yung sa algorithm, meron tayong tinatawag kasi na underfitting or overfitting. So kailangan din natin ma-make sure na just the right amount or just the right parameter values yung ginagamit natin doon sa model. I guess yun yung mga naisip kong factors para na nakaka-apekto sa accuracy ng mga predictions in machine learning in general.
Okay, thank you, Sir Elmer. So our next question is from our audience. Hi, why is there a need to transform po the temporal data into image? Is there a possibility to lose the temporal autocorrelation of the data sets with the transformation? Thank you po. So anyone po can answer?
I will answer na lang yung question na yun. So with regards to that, that's a very good question, no? Doon sa siguro nakita niyo yung research na pinakita ko kanina na yung time series kinonvert namin sa Okay. Nabanggit ko kasi the reason why we did that is because we're piggybacking on the success of CNN. Very successful kasi yung convolutional neural network sa deep learning, taas yung accuracy niya. So we just thought of that. Pero yung concern naman about the losing the temporal autocorrelation, that's the reason why we choose recurrence plot. Yung recurrence plot method kasi doon na-preserve niya yung temporal autocorrelation. Yun naman yung reason. Kung ibig sabihin yung recurrence relation nung time series mo na-preserve niya kahit na naka two-dimensional na siya. It just depends now on some parameters lang. May mga parameters kasi siniset para actually ma-capture yung temporal autocorrelation ng time series. But this is a very good question, by the way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you again, Sir Elmer. Our question number 6 is another question from the audience. Just a curious question. Usually, when time series data are involved, RNN is used. What is the reason for choosing CNN over RNN?
Yeah, tama naman. Yung RNN kasi is recurrent neural network and ginagamit usually ang RNN sa sequence data and time series is a sequence data. Ayan, just like yung sinabi ko kanina, yung CNN is very effective kapag sa data set. Pwede naman, actually we also use RNN, specifically LSTM, doon sa time series data. We did not convert, yung pinakita ko kanina is just one of our research. Pero since we're dealing with a lot of time series data, it's inevitable for us not to use RNN or LSTM, no? Specifically LSTM yung ginamit namin. Kaya lang dito, this is just another method, no? So, kasi basically ang deep learning or science itself, maraming way. Actually, you can explore a lot of ways. And ano lang to, parang let's say ingenuity siguro, no, that you can actually do that. It's not necessary kasi yung piniliwanag ko nga kanina na very successful yung images. Okay, ay yung CNN doon sa mga images. So why not convert yung time series data by preserving its temporal autocorrelation and then use CNN. Okay? But yeah, it did not preclude us to use RNN in our research. It's just that kumbaga parang ginamit din namin yung CNN tapos kinonvert naman namin yung time series into images. So both actually ginamit namin. And it's true na most time series data or sequence data ginagamit RNN. Pero gumagamit din ng CNN po. Kapag kahit na time series data or kahit sequence data, pwede rin gamitin si CNN.
Okay, thank you, Sir Elmer. The next question is for Sir Jeff. From our audience, Sir Eric Aldwin Suarez of Gapan, Nueva Ecija, magkakaroon din po ba ng Android app para sa prediction forecast mula sa ULAT project? Salamat po.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for the question. As of now, wala pa sa pipeline ng ULAT project yung pag-develop ng Android app. But currently, we are developing REST APIs that can be used for developing either web application or Android application front end. So siguro pag nasa pipeline na yon, the project will also announce para sa kaalaman ng mga gustong mag-build on top of the dataset. So dinesign namin siya na exposed via REST API yung dataset so that mas free tayo na mag-develop ng applications on top of the data na kung saan may contextualize natin doon sa problem na gusto nating isolve, na kung saan makakatulong yung weather data or lighting data. So siguro if with the succeeding phases of the project, no, magkaroon ng decision to expose the APIs, then the management or ASTI will let the public know about it.
Okay po. Thank you, Sir Jeff. The next question po is for Sir Glenn or Sir Elmer from our Facebook Live audience. Good afternoon po. Sino po usually ang pwedeng maka-access sa HPC resources po sa core? Thank you.
Okay, let me answer the question. So, basically, any government or research institutions are free to request for access as long as the intended use for the use of the HPC is for primarily for research and development use or purposes only. So anyone from the research community, as long as na gagamitin siya sa R&D and of course hindi siya gagamitin for commercial or parang pagkakakitaan na paggamit ng HPC, ay pwedeng gumamit ng HPC resources sa core. So kung merong interested po na gustong gumamit ng HPC resource, you can email po yung briefOps@asti.dost.gov.ph. So ilagay na lang din po namin sa chat box po yung email link for further inquiry po about the HPC resource. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you, Sir Glenn. So I think we are down to our last question. Question number 9 is for, again, Sir Elmer. Good afternoon po. I am a ComSci student and here is my question. In terms of machine learning and AI possibilities, what are other issues that your team can tackle, and do you have any public or open access tools we can use for testing data visualization, etc.?
For siguro ComSci students in general, no, public open access tools. So yung na-mention ko kanina, we are developing parang a web applications, no. Tapos basically nabanggit ni Jeff kanina na i-open yung API noon. I think that's one, no, na pwede nilang since through API of yung system na ginagamit namin, no, through web APIs, yung mga programmers like yung mga ComSci students can actually siguro yun nga get the data or some of the visualizations, or they can use them, no, via the web APIs.
Okay, so meron pa po bang gustong mag-add from the team? Okay, I think we have one last question po from the audience. Question number 10. Are there plans to integrate this with Pagasas Forecasting?
Let me answer this question. Yes, for this ULAT project, actually kasama namin si Pag-asa on this project, and this project is intended to be transferred or being turned over to Pag-asa after the project implementation. So they are the actually the sole end user or targeted agency for the stations, yung madi-develop din namin na tools, as well as yung mga magiging result ng researches na ginagawa namin under the project. So basically, after the project, turn over nga namin yung mga stations, then sila na yung magme-maintain, tapos yung tool na gagamitin is may integrate na dun sa mga existing tools nila as a complement for parang additional tools nila for their weather forecasting and their operations. And also, currently we are having coordination with Pag-asa team to integrate the data that we collect as early as now to their Pag-asa PUMIS system. So the PUMIS system is an integrated system for Pag-asa na doon nila nilalagay lahat ng data na nakukollect nila from all different sources. So ito yung wino-work out namin ngayon, and ongoing pa yung development on this matter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sir Glenn. I think that ends our Q&A session. Okay, so thank you to our Q&A panelists. We would like to thank our guests as well for your questions and your active participation throughout this event. For additional questions, feel free to send us an email at media@asti.dost.gov.ph, and our DOST-ASTI team will make sure to answer the best way they can. So one last request before we finally end. I hope you are all ready for the photo op. Maybe please invite everyone to turn on their cameras. Our team will be promoting the attendees to panelists. So kindly hold your smiles, and while we are waiting, for everyone's information, there are still NSTW events over the weekend. Okay, so let's just wait for the attendees to be promoted. For those asking for the certificate, unfortunately, we are not issuing certificates as of the moment, but we'll let you know in our future webinars. Okay, Aldrin.
All right. Again, we're inviting everyone to please turn on their cameras.
So you can see on the screen the NSTW webinars over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So maybe we can start the photo op, Aldrin. Thank you.
All right. I think everyone is turning on their cameras. So, yeah, please hold their smiles. Please take this photo opportunity. In count of 3, 1, 2, and 3. All right, there we have it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Aldrin. And that concludes DOST-ASTI's lineup of webinars for this year, National Science and Technology Week. But we hope to see you again in our future events. So on behalf of DOST-Advanced Science and Technology Institute, thank you very much for being here with us. This has been Therese Gilnat, your host. Stay safe, stay curious, and have a great day ahead. Thank you po.